でもいいよ。面白そうじゃない。ライト。
2008. Taco Bell was in its absolute prime, Land Before Time was still reigning supreme, and the single most important piece of media to ever come out of a decade changed a whole nation, nay, millions. I'm talking, of course, of Twilight. It's a tokusatsu. Don't fight me on this. Oh, and also, Kamen Rider Kiva came out this year. I didn't like it. Okay, I didn't like it when I was a kid. Look, at this point, I had Kabuto, Den-O, Faiz, Hibiki, and kinda Ryuki with Hong Kong subs for a little razzle-dazzle under my belt. And at this point, I kinda had a particular, palate and, particular taste, and it didn't really mesh with me. Except for Ixa. Yeah, I really love Ixa. The suit, not the character. I love the suit. But after 17 years of growth, maturity, experience, and crippling millennial debt for a little good old-fashioned personal lore, I've come to have a more refined and sophisticated and more frugal perspective. Also, I recently rewatched Blade, and let me tell you, that show has the sauce, the sides, the full course meal, the dessert.
Fucking delicious.
There's probably going to be a video about that later, if I remember. Yeah, if I remember. But after nearly 20 years, I'm rewatching Kamen Rider Kiva. Or at least for the purpose of this video, the first episode. Does it stand a test of time, or is it merely a footnote in Kamen Rider history? The story starts in 1986, where a funeral is being held for a nameless man. As a woman is about to lay a white rose into his casket, the man's face appears to be covered in a stained glass pattern. And after receiving the wholly bombastic side-eye of truth, her opacity was turned down to like 15%, and she's presumed to be dead. While the monster is terrorizing the common folk, he is stopped by a woman in a black veil and roses. The monster attacks without hesitation and soon reveals herself as a certified
bad motherfucker.
And once she starts mink and Spooderman, he disappears, only leaving an angry claw mark on the church door. We soon transition to a masked man, feeling the claw mark on the door, and then we see the 2008 year etched on the ground as our protagonist walks away. Okay, so before we go any further, we gotta talk about the designs of the monsters in the show. I really love these designs. The stained glass and animal motif really stands out from any monster designs I've seen, and the monsters in this show have really retained that horrifying aura that I feel like a lot of later Kamen Rider shows have unfortunately lost. Oh! What the fuck? Though I do feel like Revice and by extension Gav have been kind of bringing that feeling back in interesting monster designs. And oh yeah, the monsters are called fungires, like vampires, but with fangs, and not to be confused with the critically acclaimed late 90s hit children's show, Vampires. I don't think anybody remembers that show.
That's Dracula!
Anyway, this is our main protagonist, Wataru. Yeah, he's okay. Honestly though, he's not bad at all. I mean, if you were watching these shows while it aired and, watched Den-O before this one, Wataru kind of feels like a less unlucky Ryotaro, and just replace the unluckiness with the ability to throw hands. Anyway, after he's trying to look for fish scraps, he's interrupted by a girl who provides him with more fish scraps.
What the fuck?
And the whole town collectively agrees, because the whole town decided to snitch on this man to the police because he was stinky. And after Wataru gets continuous psych damage from the ever-growing angry mob and a little girl, we cut to our first look at Kivat Bat the Third. Also, Kivat is voiced by Tomokazu Sugita, who also voiced Joseph Joestar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2. Then we jump to our regular cast member, Megumi, who is interrupted by our friendly neighborhood carcass thief, Wataru. Wait. Noe wrote this? Couldn't tell. We then transition to the 1986 timeline where we meet the same woman from the intro of the episode, and after confronting her unresolved canine trauma, because girl, same, we learn her name is Yuri, followed by Akira, the shop owner, and Shimi Ya Shima, who is apparently in charge of providing assignments to Yuri. Shima tells Yuri that her next target is a CEO from another company who's benefiting from the flourishing stock market or something. And you know, and yet another reason that proves that Luigi was morally correct.
Bang, bang.
Oh, and he's a Fangire who's responsible for the disappearance of 5 of his secretaries.
Bang, bang.
And after a quick trip to 2008, where Megumi socially terrorizes our mild-mannered and anxiety-induced main character, then they go back to 1986. Yeah, this is a little jarring. Mr. CEO and his very unaware assistant take a detour in a warehouse district, and come on, girl, I'm gonna need you to be aware. After Mr. CEO gives Luigi even more reasons to tip the capitalist scales, our assailant is halted by none other than
A bad motherfucker.
Then Yuri shows off her sick and cool motorcycle stunt work.
I get it!
But Sugami, oh yeah, that's the CEO's name, finally said enough and changes to the horse Fangire, and
Holy shit!
and after another tussle, Sugami changes back, and before you know it, Yuri has a 2-star wanted level put on her, and the assistant just kind of tiptoes away. Then while fleeing to make her daring escape, she elopes with a mysterious man, causing the men to lose her, and she successfully lowers her wanted level. And this, of course, introduces us to Otoya. He's a little problematic. Oh yeah, and Secretary Chan gets murked. Yuri does manage to catch up to Sugami, and before she's able to attack again, Otoya's, you know, he's being Otoya, and Mr. CEO makes his escape again. This leads us to 2008, where Megumi is meeting with none other than, you know, the creep himself, and he invites her to one of his photo shoots. You know, maybe he's learned the error of his ways and turned over a new stained glass panel, and maybe he really has okay, yeah, no, that was quick. As Wataru continues to break even more Geneva conventions, he glances over to the violin in the case and mentions that he'll never be able to mimic the finish of the original violin. Switch back to Megumi about to be attacked by Sugami, and the situation is about to become a little bleak, until we found out the girl's packing a blicky. What the hell? As Wataru finishes playing his violin, a single note vibrates from the violin across the room, which alerts him of the nearby Fangire. He finally arrives to the scene with Kivat and henshins in the Kiva. This suit is so freaking sick. This man is rocking them chains. The henshin still kind of okay to me. It's kind of boring actually, but I love everything else. After Kiva minks the monster a little bit, we finish the fight with the iconic rider kick. Oh yeah, and Castle Duran is, then Megumi turns the blicky towards Kiva, and it's the end of the episode. What a cool first episode. I love the very unique storytelling approach this series has, and as of this YouTube video, it has yet to be replicated. Currently, I enjoy the characters. They're all like really fun. I think Megumi is probably my favorite character. She's a really goofy and eccentric character, but can also be super supportive to others, even to strangers like Wataru, which makes her shift to becoming Xena Warrior Fangire Hunter all the more interesting as well. And Otoya is Otoya. Honestly though, he is such a fun character, and seeing him fawn after Yuri feels a little like deja vu from a certain Kamen Rider series as well. Hey, so one quick edit here. My microphone actually died, so I have to use an older microphone, which means the audio quality is a little bit different. Just want to give you a heads up. Anyway, when I first watched Kiva in 2008, I initially didn't like Wataru because he felt too similar to Ryotaru from Kamen Rider Den-O. And after seeing that series just kind of finished airing, it was hard not to make those comparisons, since at face value, it seemed like we were getting a similar-ish character again. So I am cheating a little bit and referencing later episodes of Kiva, since I'm only covering like the first episode. But in later episodes, Wataru is actually shown to really admire his father, Otoya. Yeah, he's a man's a father. And Wataru really dislikes his shy and reserved personality. He wants to strive to be more like his charismatic father, although he soon learns that Otoya is, you know, a little more sleazy than he was initially anticipated. I know I already talked about the parallel timeline gimmick, but I want to talk about it some more. It's a little interesting, but a tad clunky, at least for now. I know the hard cuts initially seem a little janky, but it's clear the show is trying to condition the viewer with subtle stained glass panels in the corner of the screen to signify that 1984 timeline. So when the quick transitions do happen, the viewer's not, you know, Confuzzled. Oh, and I didn't even get to talk about the music. Oh my god! It is so freaking good. Overall, this has been like a fun rewatch so far. I'm currently on episode 6 of this recording. I think 7 actually. Let's say 6. And honestly, it's just been so fun. And it's been so long since I watched these shows, it's literally like watching the show brand new. I may make more videos in the future about how I feel about the show, but for right now, I think I'm okay with just taking my time and just enjoying the show, you know?
Hi, konnichiwa!